talking about refereeing or any of that. It's just we have to do better. We have to play better and handle the situation so that we get the benefits of all of the good play. And we gave them some stuff. We gave them way too much stuff. And like I said, you give a good team that much, they keep hanging. They're tough. They got great players and terrific approach to the game and all that. And it came through, and they won a game with it. And credit to them.
With Derrick Henry, did they change things up, or is that just a get back, getting going over time?
No, he had a big play. I mean, we were. I don't know what his numbers wound up being, but they were in a game that they needed, that they like, where they can keep on pounding away, and they were very conservative with it. And after a while, you're going to make some yards, but we didn't have to give them whatever the big one was, 60 or something, whatever that was.
I know that you still have to review the tape, and it's probably too early to ask, but what did you see on that play
we were too aggressive on the edge. I just got Jamal fired up about taking a shot at something, and the combination of how we played the edge right there, the ball bounced, and he's been doing that for years. He takes off and gets on the edge, and nobody can take him down. And all day long we fought to not let that happen, and then it finally did.
What did you,
to their credit.
Offense,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The offense in the second half, when you got the big play to Swain, but there's some 3 and outs there. Just anything kind of changed there in the 2 halves?
No, I don't know that anything changed. We got they made a mistake, and we took advantage of it really well. Just not as we just weren't as clean as we needed to be. Third downs need to go a little bit more in our favor to keep the thing moving. But no, not in particular.
Was DK hurt? He didn't look right on that overtime.
He was a little sore, yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what it was. He banged his knee or something like that.
Do you have an update on Brandon Shell?
I don't. Sorry.
He said there's a lot of good stuff within the bad. Bobby Wagner, 20 more tackles in the sack. What do you think of?
Yeah, I thought he played a phenomenal game, and the defense did a lot of great stuff. We were really aggressive and really on the attack. To hold them down like that in the running game when they really were trying, that was a good effort. You could see the line of scrimmage, how many times we tackled them for nothing, But they were, they stuck with it, and they stayed with their philosophy. They know they got in trouble a week ago not being able to do that, and so they were able, and it won for them.
What did you think of your running game on offense today?
I thought it was spotty. I didn't feel like we took control of it, and like we would like to.
Other than that, Freddie Swain on the blown covers, it wasn't really a big offensive spark in the second half. Did they make an adjustment? Were you guys not doing something right? What did you see?
No, they played it pretty much the same. We didn't execute quite as well, but they didn't change much.
Seemed like it was kind of a feast or famine day with the pass rush. A few drives, really able to get after Tannehill, and then the rest of the game is just kind of sitting there comfortably. Were you surprised with them having a couple backups on the offensive line?
Yeah, we really thought that we would get more pressure just watching what happened last week, but they did a nice job, and we didn't do as well as we needed to.
Did you take Jordan Brooks kind of out of the game there for a series or 2 after the penalty?
Mm-hmm.
What was the thought behind not using your last 2 timeouts when the Titans were driving in regulation?
We were ready to do that, but the ball got down, all the way down. I didn't want to concede the opportunity right there that early, and then they scored fast enough. They left us 24 or something seconds. That was about what we were going to get. Could have done that a little better.
Did they take away your tight ends more than you expected?
No, late in the game, or middle of the third quarter sometime, I made mention, that Gerald hadn't gotten the ball much, and we had some stuff called, and we had tried to get some things done, and it just didn't work out as it happens sometimes. But there was not a change in our approach, other than we just didn't get the ball to him.
What did you see from Russell on the late game sequences?
The last drive, we just we took a big shot, and we missed by a hair, on the sidelines, and then the second down play. That's the only 3 plays that I thought were really of question. That we didn't handle those 3 plays as well as we needed to. We couldn't. We wound up on the goal line, backed up. So we messed that sequence up getting out of there, and made it really, really easy for them, and not getting a couple first downs there and move the football and kick it deep. If we, at least, we didn't get that done. So disappointed in that sequence, but that was it.
Pete,
as much emphasis as you put on the fourth quarter and finishing to have this game kind of go that way on both sides of the ball? How rough
Yeah,
is
I
that
mean,
for you?
I hate this, you know, I hate having a 24-9 at halftime, come on, you know, and we took care of the ball all day long, you know, did a great job with the football and wind up plus and give a game away. It had to be other really big things that happened, which were the penalties, and it was the, you know, those, you know, the 2 hits on the quarterback, you know, those are huge plays for them, and the out of bounds, just unnecessary. I mean, there's just unnecessary things that happened, you know, and we need to be better than that. And I need to be better. I need to help our guys better than that.
You said you need to help your guys better, and before that Derrick Henry big run, you'd gotten Jamal Adams juiced about something. What do you mean by you need to be better when you're talking about being disciplined?
Well, when there's that many plays where guys do stuff like kind of after the fact, you know, we're trying too hard, and they get them too freaking jacked up, and they're going for it, and we're feisty, and we're, you know, all of that, you know, that's not the first time that's happened, my guys, you know, and so that's why, you know, I got to do a better job.
Brandon Shell, do you have a?
I don't know. I didn't get the update. But it was an ankle sprain, is what it was.
Anything else? Thank you.
Tyler, what happened offensively in the second half? One big play, and that was about it.
I think that Tennessee did a great job in the second half. I think even on the first drive when we got the ball moving, just the fact that they kind of did like a corner blitz and it kind of caught us, a little bit off guard. And it kind of stopped the progression, that we had moving the ball downfield. But I think they just had some good calls going into like the last couple of our drives. I don't think we were able to get first downs like we was earlier in the game in the first two quarters, which allowed us to be able to keep them on their toes, kind of like do what we want to be able to do offensively. But when you are getting 3 and outs and when we're getting flags and stuff like that, it almost goes back to, us just kind of shooting our own selves in the foot.
Pete talked about the flags and said, that's on him as a head coach. I know you didn't have any of the penalties, but as a team, how do you find that balance between guys being fired up and, making plays and not taking it a little too far?
Yeah, the game is emotional, so you're going to see a bunch of emotion come out. It's the first time when you have fans back in the game, so even that type of atmosphere is going to get you pumped up. It's going to get you rowdy, just all that different type of stuff. Like, this game is way different than it was last year just because of the atmosphere and because of everything that we know last year brought. Like, everybody's ready, everybody's excited. But, we also got to learn how to be able to just hold our composure, be really detailed in understanding, like, why we're getting the penalties, how can we improve from it, stuff like that. At the end of the day, all you could really do is learn from it. And, for us, I think that's something that we're going to do. We got to tell the truth Monday, so we'll hear a bunch of truth while we're out there. But, it's just about just learning from it, getting better from it. Even if we would have won, it's the same thing. You got to be able to learn through those wins and through those losses.
You talked about seeing the corner blitz from Tennessee, some adjustments they made. Was there something else specifically that you saw? It's kind of like that.
No, I just feel like, that was one play that they did that they don't really show. And it just happened to work out at that right time. I don't really think they did anything different that we saw. I think we adjusted to everything that they threw at us. It was more so of we just weren't able to get a rhythm in the third quarter. And it kind of goes the same from the first game too. We kind of didn't have a rhythm in the third quarter too. So we just got to be able to come out in the third and fourth quarter and just be able to finish. We see what we can do in the first half. We know what we're capable of. And we just got to be able to continue to learn how to be able to play when we're on top.
At the end of the first half, you guys went 75 yards in less than a minute. Second half, almost nothing. Did you guys lose your edge in the second half?
No, I was in the game, so I don't really know what we lost. I just think that, like I said, I think that when you have a team like Tennessee who's moving the ball, it was almost flipped. The tables was flipped. We were moving the ball. The offense for Tennessee wasn't really getting a chance to be able to stay on the field, get their composure, run the plays that they wanted to play, that they practiced. And, it almost got flipped. Like, we weren't able to get out there on the field as much as we did in the first half because Tennessee did a great job being able to move the ball downfield, controlling the clock, controlling the tempo of the game. And for us, we just got to be able to know how to be able to take that back, take that momentum back, being able to just play, like I said, every part of the game. Because like Pete says, you can't win in the first 3 quarters. You can only win in the fourth. And so for us, when teams get momentum and when teams start being able to do great or they start to control the clock, we just got to be able to learn how to play when we don't have the ball as much as the other team does.
Kind of following up on that, Pete talks about the fourth quarter and finishing all the time with you guys. For this fourth quarter to go the way that it did, how frustrating is that for you guys?
Well, I don't think that any of us expected, to lose a game like that, especially with the history of just being here and the fourth quarter wins and how we fight and all that type of stuff. But I think for us, like I said, it's a learning experience. Not everything's going to go your way. Sometimes you're going to get knocked down. Sometimes, the momentum is going to go to that team. But like I said, it's a game of momentum. And the team that's able to control and keep their composure and learn how to be able to play through the momentum shifts, that's the team that's going to be able to win, and that's the team that's going to be able to stay alive as we enter the playoffs and all that different other stuff. So for us, it's just being able, like I said, we learn how to play when we don't have the ball as much in our hands. Like you said, we was able to move the ball for however many yards in under a minute. But we also got to learn how to be able to control the clock. We also got to be able to learn, how to play when we are being explosive and, when we are playing 2 minute and when we do need to be able to control the ball. So it's different aspects of the game. It's not always trying to be able to do the same thing every time.
Anything else?
All right, have a good weekend.
Tennessee, great football team, but we put ourselves in a hole and just couldn't get out.
What was Derrick Henry really got going in the second half? Did they do anything different there, or just emphasize it? Or?
Nah, he just kept running the ball, man. I mean, obviously he's a top back for a reason, you know. If not one of the best backs, if not the best back in the league. Bigger back, obviously, you know, we just gotta. Everybody has to do their job, has to stay in our gaps as firm as possible, and if we give him a little bit of a crease, he's gonna hit it because he's that good. And you know, he got rolling, and when he gets rolling, he's dangerous.
What happened on the long touchdown run?
He scored.
What did you see on that play, though?
Well, I was behind him, so we obviously didn't get him down, and he scored.
Do you think the run defense stuff was like gap stuff? Like,
Yeah, it's about, you know, just playing our gaps. But like I said, you know, we just got to stay in our gaps. If we give a little bit of a crease for a guy like Derrick Henry, he's going to hit it. So.
You guys got a lot of penalties, including the one that happened to you. Describe what happened, and did you think that merited a flag? Describe what happened. Describe what happened, and whether you thought that merited a flag.
You talking about my penalty or just everybody overall?
Yeah, yours first.
You know, I'm not really a go back and forth with the refs and whatnot. I think it was, you know, obviously this is an offensive league. They're going to protect the quarterback. Bang, bang situation. I don't agree with it, but at the end of the day, they called it. Can't happen. I have to be smarter in that situation. But I don't really agree.
You mentioned overall that you guys maybe were overamped from the standpoint of being the first game back, and there were unnecessary penalties because you guys carried it too far.
I mean, I can't answer that. We just we can't have those penalties. You know what I mean? It's not about coming out here and you know, at the end of the day, we have a job to do. And we have to, you know, have controlled chaos is what I call it. And, you know, it's an even kill mindset. We can't have those penalties in crucial situations. Some are ticky-tack. It's just like DJ Reed and, you know, on the taunting penalty. Come on, man. You know, you're taking the emotions and the passion out of the game of football. So at the end of the day, that's the rule. We have to play smarter. But, yeah, we definitely shot ourselves in the foot with a lot of our penalties that led to points and extended drives.
What's the key to maintaining that even temper in the second half when you're up and the fans are going crazy for the first time for you since you've been here? What's the key to keeping that even keel?
I think it's just going back to the basics and focusing on your job. Everybody doing their assignment, being disciplined, staying gap sound, because we all play a part, all 11 of us. So it's not, you know, an upfront thing. It's not a second level thing or a third level thing. It's a team thing. And as a defense, we were playing phenomenal at the beginning. You know what I mean? And we just didn't finish. We didn't finish, and it hurts. It does hurt, but that's okay. We're gonna keep our head up. We got a long season. We understand, you know, who we are as a defense. We understand, you know, the sky's the limit for this defense, and we're gonna keep on marching.
Do you feel like there was a change in mentality from when you came out to start the game to when you came out to start the second half as a defense?
I don't think so. I think that those guys on the other side of the field just got rolling. And like I said, you know, Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry for a reason. I've been going against him for a long time, since LSU days, and he's a bigger back, you know. So when he gets rolling and he starts falling forward, that's when we're in trouble. As a defense, anybody's in trouble, should I say. So hats off to them, Tannehill. They did a phenomenal job of controlling the clock and capitalizing when they needed to.
Tyler Lockett just called this a learning experience. What lessons do you want to see the defense take out of this game?
Just doing our job, just staying disciplined for 4 quarters. Anybody can swing in the first half, but we got to swing it in the second half as well. And we gave ourselves chances. We just didn't come out on top. It was a tough ball game. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we just didn't, go out there and compete or didn't, go out there and make plays towards the end. We gave ourselves a chance, but it didn't roll our way.
They were without a couple of starting offensive linemen for a good chunk of this game, but it felt like a lot of the extra pressure when you guys were bringing blitzes, you weren't having a lot of success, to get home. Was there anything that they were doing in particular that was making it difficult for you guys to get that extra pressure to Tannehill?
No. They wasn't doing anything difficult. They was just executing, and we weren't.
Jamal, you've talked for a long time about wanting to play in front of the 12s. This was the first time in a real game. What was that like, and do you think actually Tennessee did a good job of handling the noise?
It was phenomenal, just to get out there and experience the 12s. The last time I've kind of experienced something like that was my LSU days back in Baton Rouge. I'm not gonna say who was louder, but it was both. They both were going. You know what I mean? And the 12s is phenomenal when you can get behind fans like that that have your back. And as a defense, we feed off of that, and just as well as they feed off of us. Tannehill and the Titans did a phenomenal job of controlling it. You noticed that they started going tempo. When they were going tempo, obviously they knew what we could throw at them on third down. And they were just keeping us on our toes, doing a phenomenal job at that. But at the end of the day, the tempo didn't affect us. It just, we gotta continue to do our job at all times and can't get distracted by what's going on or what they're trying to, disguise in a way. So at the end of the day, we didn't execute, and they did.
How does it get to the point where you guys just aren't doing the basics?
Say it again.
How does it get to that point? I mean, like you say, you're playing well, basics, doing your job, so it seems pretty like basic stuff. How does that get lost in a game like that?
Sometimes shit just happens, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just happens that way. That's, like I said, that's a phenomenal group. I mean, you talk about their offense, on paper, Julio, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Tannehill. I mean, the list goes on and on of great, phenomenal players on that side. So, let's not act like we ain't play a good offense. They executed, we didn't.
With the taunting stuff and the new emphasis on that, do you feel like the NFL has made it clear where exactly the line is and what you can't do?
Well, you can't look at the offensive player while he's on the ground. You can't talk to him. You can't show emotion. Again, this is an offensive game, and that rule is, I'm not a fan of it.
Did Bobby address the defense after the game?
No. We okay, man. We're gonna be all right. This isn't the end of the world. It's one game. We obviously 24-hour rule. We got to learn from it. Yeah, it hurts, especially losing at home in front of the fans. Man, they brought the juice and the energy today. Obviously, it didn't roll our way, but that's okay, man. We got another opportunity at hand, and we're looking forward to that challenge.
How are they using you differently? Looks like you're not blitzing as much, the numbers say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're using me differently. I guess I'm just not getting the opportunities as much like last year as far as blitzing. But, man, listen, when my number's called, I'm going to do my job. I'm out there to do my job to the best of my ability. And like I said, when my number's called, I'm ready.
Anything else? Thanks, Jamal.
Thanks, Jamal.
What you guys got for me?
Bobby, we're not in there to take the temperature of the locker room. What's the vibe in there after a loss like this?
You're definitely disappointed, you know what I mean, to have a lead and give it up and, you know, be in a position to make some plays. It's definitely not a great feeling, but it's something that we can learn from. It's early in the season, and so we have to watch this film and get better.
What are the learning points from this? You said something to learn from. What do you guys take from this?
Just, you know, making sure we're all accountable, make sure we're doing our job, and just execute. And then just not hurting ourselves. You know, we had some untimely penalties, you know, in this game. So we got to clean up that. That's all on us. That's nothing that they're doing. That's us hurting ourselves.
Bobby, you guys did such a good job on Derrick Henry in the first half. See, just the type of back where once he gets his momentum going, in the second half, it's hard to stop him.
Yeah, you know, once he gets going and once the offensive coordinator gets a good feel on you know, just giving him the rock. You know, he's a very talented, very special player, and so, you know, he showed that today.
Bobby, how frustrating is it knowing like the 5 drives in the second half, 4 of them went 60-plus yards, 3 scoring drives, with the standing you kind of holding yourselves to that they can turn that way on you as fast as it did?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. You know, definitely the standard that we have, you know, and expect of ourselves. You know, again, I think a couple of those drives we hurt ourselves, and so we just got to get out of our own way and find a way to get off the field.
What do you think is the key to getting out of your own way moving forward? How do you start addressing something that's sort of intangible like that?
We just got to be smarter. We got to look at the film. We got to understand what they did against us in the second half that teams are, you know, going to start mimicking. And, you know, you just have to play better, execute better. And definitely in, like, big moments and big times where we really need to stop, where we really need to be on our jobs. We need to make sure that we're focused and locked in.
Bobby, what on Derrick Henry's big 60-yard touchdown run, what broke down?
I think everybody just got really aggressive, hit our gaps, and then he bounced it outside. And, you know, we left a lot of space for him in the corner, which, you know, you don't want to give anybody by themselves with that much space is hard to tackle him. So we just got to make sure that we don't, you know, leave the corner out there to dry.
Bobby, 20 tackles is a franchise record. Is that an accomplishment you can appreciate, or given the results, it kind of?
I mean, it's cool, but, you know, we lost, so it don't really matter.
Anything else, guys?
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
Bobby.
one.
Great.
Rest of you guys are a team that prides yourself on finishing. Just how tough is a game like that for you?
Yeah, to lose that kind of game, we were up pretty good there in the second half and all that, and the game just kind of slipped away from us. We could have played tighter across the board, and they got a good football team. They've been a playoff team for a while now, and they got some good players. So you got to be sharp. We got to be on our stuff, and we got to make plays. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. We did some really great things though. It's a journey. It's not don't get to the championship overnight. It takes a lot. But we could have handled that game. We could have played better. And that's really it.
Did they do anything differently the second half at all, or seemed like it was a little bit harder for the offense to get going?
Not really. I mean, it really had the ball once in the third quarter, I think. It was once in the third quarter, right? Yeah, so we had the ball once in the third quarter. They had the ball for quite a bit. I think they were trying to play the game slow in a way. And we got the ball once in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter we hit Freddie. And then they answered back, and that was kind of the end of the fourth quarter in a way. Next thing you know, we were in overtime, we had some unfortunate penalties, had some things that were some good plays, this and that on both sides of the ball, and it just didn't work out our way on those, and that's just part of the game. We still got to stay poised, we still got to answer, we still got to find a way to win. We should have had a great opportunity to win this game, and it's unfortunate, but we're staying focused on what we can do.
Russ, you guys had a great drive at the end of the half, 75 yards in less than a minute.
Yep.
But then very little after halftime. Did you guys take it easy, lose your edge because it came so easily in the first half?
No, not at all. I think that they're a good football team. I mean, the reality is, like I said, they had the ball in the third quarter for most of the whole quarter. We had the ball one time. And in the fourth quarter, we scored, so we didn't lose our edge there. We scored a good amount of points. It's just they made some plays when they needed to, and so I don't think we lost our edge by any means. I think that just across the board we could have played a little tighter, a little better. And like I said, it's unfortunate.
What did they do to take away your tight ends today?
They didn't necessarily do anything particular. I think that Tyler had such a beautiful game. I mean, he was remarkable. I mean, think about what he did today. Freddie Swain had a great game. That was huge to see him play. DK made some plays, and so I think those guys just, we didn't have the ball that long, but when we did make plays, those are the guys who were making them. So nothing in particular. I think that we can always get those guys the ball. There was a couple opportunities here and there, but other guys that maybe showed up, down the field, we took those guys. So I know, and then the 2-minute drive where we went up and down the field, Gerald was open on a couple of them, but we hit the guy down the left sideline a couple times, so. It's a good thing to have guys who can get open and make plays.
Russ, what happened on the possession in overtime? It kind of fell apart.
Yeah, they stopped it. We almost had Tyler on the sideline, on the first play, and the second one, tried to throw it away because it looked like something was going on over there. I'm not sure exactly. And then the third play, they covered it well, tried to move and make a play, and then that was it. I think that. You don't second guess them. You feel like we're always great in those situations, and more times than not, we're always going to be great in those. We're going to win those. We're going to make those plays. We always have, and so it doesn't happen every time. And even when we did have to punt the ball, we still felt like we could win the game, and they made their plays.
You're somebody who thrives in that neutral mentality, and I know try not to get too high, too low during the game, but afterwards, Jamal and Bobby were talking about just the emotions of having the 12 back in the stands and her first home game. Did you feel like there was an element of added emotion on the sidelines that could have led to that, like, undisciplined shooting yourselves in the foot that you guys are talking about?
That's a great question. I mean, I felt super poised. I felt like we were poised for the most part throughout the game. I mean, obviously, it's a football game. It's going to bring emotions and stuff like that, but you got to eliminate them, Got to be able to eliminate them throughout the process, but still play with great passion. Doesn't mean you can't play with great passion. I think there's a difference between passion and emotion. And so I think the thing is that I think that for us, I think that as we're continuing to play, is to find that poise throughout the whole game. It's a long game. It's a long battle. It's good team over here, good team over here. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, they made some huge plays. Henry had that nice run after we scored. So it's high and then some tough moments there. But I think that's why neutral thinking is so important. I mean, just for me in particular, playing this game for so long, it's I know there's going to be ebbs and flows of the game, you know. And so I think as we all talk about it, you know, what can we do better as in groups and stuff like that or whatever. I think we did a good job. I think, you know, listen, I mean, we scored 30 points or whatever. You know, there's a chance to win that game, you know, and they made some plays. You know, that's really what it comes down to, a good football team against us. And we're a good one too. We knew it was going to be a battle. We knew it was going to be a tough fight. We had a feeling that it was going to be a long, drawn-out game, that we may not even get the ball all the time just because, you know, how they play football, and they're going to hand it off quite a bit. I'm not sure how many runs he had there, but, you know, they give it to him quite a bit. And so, you know, when we capitalized, we capitalized in a good way. But Chris Carson, you know, had those 2 nice runs down near the goal line, which was great by offensive line, powering that in there. Like I said, Tyler had a spectacular game. Freddie, you know, there's a lot of good things, but not good enough.
Apologies if this feels too prying, but how personally difficult was this week for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I think that throughout the week it's been challenging just in a way, thinking about Trevor, just because he's such a good friend, you know, and one of my best friends in the world. To lose him is devastating. But I also know that he's up in heaven somewhere smiling down with my dad, and heaven's a good place. And, you know, and I just think about everything he's fought through, everything he's battled through. He didn't tell many people. He just kept going and kept trying to lead and help people and serve. And I love Trevor, you know, and he was with me all day today in a good way. And, you know, I really, truly felt like, you know, all of his thoughts and everything else was with me today. So I'm grateful for that, and grateful for the time we spent together. And, you know, long days, man. We spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of hard moments, a lot of great ones too, a lot of great ones. And so, you know, I wrote him on my cleats today, and did some just some of his quotes that really kind of stuck with me always. You know, and so he'll forever be with me. But, you know, today just tried to you know, once again, stay neutral as possible, knowing that, you know, it was going to be a tough one in that sense, but also knowing I've gone through some stuff in my lifetime, and you lose people, and people come and go. But, you know, what I'm grateful for is that he got to know God. He got to know, you know, just what that's like, and just, you know, seeing him in heaven is going to be a good day one day. So he means a lot to me.
The work that you guys did together, does that prepare you in any way to deal with something like, you know, play through something like this?
Yeah, I think so, you know, for sure, and without a doubt. I mean, think all the things that we've talked about. And I think that, first of all, my faith is number one. I think number two is just been through some things. Obviously, losing my dad was the heaviest thing I've ever dealt with. You know, and in the highest of the high, I got drafted the day before. The next day, my dad passed away. So you have the highest of the high to the lowest of the low within 24 hours, just like that. That was challenging. I think about, you know, how my mom would always be at the hospital, and that's pressure. You know, that's challenging. That's not easy. You know, I think about all the things that just you go through throughout life, that we all go through, you know, and we all go through different circumstances in different ways. And what I think is so important is, you know, surrendering and surrounding around the right people. And that's the thing that's always kept me, you know, blessed, and knowing that, hey, you know what, there's going to be a better day ahead. And that's what Trevor always said. He used to always say the best day is ahead, you know, best days are ahead. So I really believe that. And so in life, I think that we're going to go through all these circumstances and everything else, but we all have challenges and everything else. But I do believe that our mindset's everything. How we think about things, how we talk about things, our language. You know, Trevor, you know, his language is such a big part of it. You know, how what we say, what we don't say. That's part of the battle all the time. You know, it's like what we don't say sometimes. You know, and how do we speak to one another, and how do we care for one another? How we uplift one another, and you know, even as you're going through life things, but even as a team, you know, as leaders, like, what do we say? How do we say things like that? And so that's why I've spent so much of my time and energy around that, because that's something that I know I can control. You know, it's something that I know I'm going to go through obstacles. I know there's going to be adversity, but if I can control my mind, you know, that's the part that I really believe is really key. And so that's why I control my language, and making sure that, hey, I'm on the same page, and the people that I'm around and all that. So I think that's really critical, and that's why I've invested so much time and energy and limitless mind, all that stuff. You know, it means something to me.
Anything else?
Thank you, guys. Go Hawks. Thanks for all the fans who came to obviously to see you guys again. Obviously, we weren't able to finish it the way we wanted to, but through everything that we've gone through with COVID and and everything else, and what everybody's going through. It was really special today just to be around the 12s again. So we'll be better. We'll be back, and we'll see you guys soon. We'll see you guys in Minnesota, right? Minnesota. We'll see you guys. All right, go Hawks.